What's up, everybody? Welcome to Move the Sticks. DJ Bucky with you today. We got a abbreviated show, Buck. We're on the move. I am in Vegas. We've got Thursday Night Football tonight, Chargers, Raiders. You are on the move as well, getting ready to hop on a flight. So we're going to squeeze one in today, bud. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm good. I am great. I can't complain. I love this time of year. Like, we're down to the final quarter of the NFL season. We got the college football bowl games coming on, college football playoffs, like all this time. It's really exciting time.
Yeah, by the way, we just recorded an interview with Dave Ziegler, who was the general manager of the Raiders for, a year and a half after previously spent a
Mhm.
long time in New England. It's a full trophy case there from his time doing a lot of work on the pro side there, on the pro side of scouting. So we had just did a really fascinating interview with him, which will run tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. On today's show, we're going to get to, Buck's Coach's Corner. We're going to do that in just a little bit. We'll get to the game of the week. But we're going to start, first of all, with these rookie impact scores. We do this each and every week, Buck, and there are some new names on here,
Yeah.
one of which I want to get to at the very top because the highest score for the week is Chase Brown, running back for the Cincinnati Bengals, who
Mhm.
is someone that we both thought highly of as we were going through the draft process.
Yeah, look, man, I had a chance to watch him on Monday night the week before, and you could see the juice. They were beginning to mix him in, split time with him and Joe Mixon, and you can tell the element that he brings, catching the ball on screen passes, being able to hit the perimeter on those off-tackle runs. He has the juice. And, it's funny because sometimes it takes a while for guys to get their opportunity, but he was certainly ready for his opportunity. And I will say this, the Bengals offense is a little different now that they've given him more playing time. And as Zach Taylor's kind of settled in with Jake Browning, as his quarterback, as he kind of settled in with the personnel that he has. And Brown has been a big part of what they're doing. And I think he's going to continue to have a big role in this offense.
Yeah, big time productive player at Illinois. He was 5'0", 209 pounds, ran 4.43. Kind of a quick stepper. He reminded me a little bit of Jamal Lewis. You know, if you remember how Jamal Lewis would run,
Yeah.
those quick little choppy
Itty bitty
steps.
steps. Yeah.
Yeah, but he could really, really go. Runs through contact, as a nasty stiff arm. He was a little bit tight. He struggled a little bit in pass pro. Those were that was the concern with him. But man, to me, it also shows you having a little juice. You want to have one of your runners have some juice. And you can have a power guy if you want, but gotta have somebody with some juice. This dude's got juice.
Well, the one thing that we know is speed kills in the National Football League. And if you want to have a team that has big plays or produces turnovers, you got to have fast guys at marquee spots. And at running back, Brown is another example of when you have these guys that can take it a distance, man, it just changes the equation for the offense. It's too hard to play offensive football in today's game where you're having 10 plays to go 80 yards. You have to have an explosive play. There's a direct correlation between producing an explosive play and putting points on the board. And so the more guys that you have that has that explosion, the more likely you can be able to deliver some of those big plays.
How about this thought? Because we talk about how this league has gone to shell coverage, too high looks,
Mhm.
limit big plays in the passing game. One of the things that maybe that might lend itself to is running backs with the juice. Maybe you trying to say, okay, this was our target for explosive plays,
Mhm.
whereas in the past we're going to get 80% of them in the pass game. Maybe there's a way we can manufacture a couple in the run game by getting the A-Chans, the
Mhm.
Browns, like some of these young backs with juice. You saw with Keaton Mitchell doing
Yeah.
it with the Ravens, but we can go on and on. Those guys with juice and burst, man, you can sneak in some of those extra explosives in the run game.
Well, I think we are seeing that. And I think some of the stuff that we're seeing from the Miami Dolphins, the end arounds, the reverses, the Niners have been on that train a little bit. When you have these explosive athletes that you can line up in different places and hit them with the jet sweeps and those things, we're seeing that they can outrun the defense. And you want big plays. Everyone wants like these explosive plays where in the run game, runs of 10 or more yards. In the passing game, passes completed 20 yards or more. You have to have it. I think DJ with the shell coverage is not only being able to run around them, but it's also the ability to catch a check down and turn a
Yeah,
5-yard pass into a 15 to 20-yard game.
great point.
All these things are beginning to matter in today's game. I can't throw it over the top, but then maybe we can run around you.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. So he was the top dog this week in terms of the score. When you look at some of the rest of these names on here, Tommy DeVito, how about him? He was in
Mhm.
second place, 17.8 points. Bijan, not a surprise, 17.6. Zay Flowers, 15 points. Will Levis with 15 points. When you look at the teams, that had the biggest impact scores. I feel like it's a lot of the same teams, Buck. The Packers first, followed by the Rams, the Titans, the Bengals, and the Giants. Now, when you look at the Giants, it's not only DeVito, Deontay Banks. He played 73 snaps this week, had 12 tackles. Think about tackles corners that can tackle. How about that? 12 tackles, a TFL, and a pass defense. Jalen Hyatt, only 13 receiving yards, but he's playing a good bit. And then John Michael Smits is starting at center. So the Giants and their turnaround, look, DeVito's getting a lot of credit, won 3 of those 4 starts, done some nice things, but you're also seeing the offensive line play better. And I think Deontay Banks is one of a nice young nucleus. You look at Dexter Lawrence, you look at Thibodeau, what he's done, Deontay Banks, they're forming a really good young defensive group here that can grow together.
Yeah, they are forming a nice group. Deontay Banks showed up, made some plays down the end zone, some PBUs and that stuff. DJ, it's funny, they got to a point where they were in a desperate mode, so they decided to put the young guys on the field, and lo and behold, the young guys would kind of help them come out of it. People will talk a lot about Tommy DeVito, and I think Tommy DeVito has really done a good job. He's taking care of the ball. He's added something with the athleticism and those things, but it's the other young guys that they have playing around. Jalen Hyatt being able to get on the field. You talked about Banks and some of the other young cats. There's something about, I would say, that youthful energy, but more so that athleticism that they bring to the table. If you have the right coaches that can simplify the game for them and allow that athleticism to come through, you see that it's a game changer. And the Giants have been playing better because the young guys have been making contributions.
I want to ask you about one name that I mentioned a second ago, and that is when you look at the Tennessee Titans and Will Levis and what he's done, have you seen enough that, not only I think he's going to be the starter going into next year. I don't think there's a question about that. But have you seen enough there to get legitimately excited that there's a chance this is going to be a really, really big hit, or is this just the best they have right now?
I'm still cautiously optimistic on Will Levis. Here's what I would say, and I didn't appreciate it enough about him. DJ, being a competitor can take you a long way.
Yep.
And I will say this about Will Levis. It's not perfect. He paints outside the lines. There are things that he does that makes you be like, oh, no. But his toughness, his enthusiasm, his energy, the energy that he's brought to the team has changed. His willingness to challenge DeAndre Hopkins and some of the other guys when they make mistakes, all of that stuff is positive. And as Mike Vrabel talks about, trying to get him to channel it the right way, it's a lot better for me to say, whoa, than giddy up. He has some of that stuff that you look for. So, yeah, if I'm a Titans fan, I'm cautiously optimistic that he might be the next one to be the QB1 for a long time in Tennessee.
Yeah, I look, he's a totally different player than Brock Purdy, but Brock Purdy was the perfect quarterback for Kyle Shanahan. I think Will Levis is a culture match. He's a DNA match for the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans have been the bruising, bully, physical Mike Vrabel team. This is the physical, bruising, bully quarterback. I don't think that this works everywhere, but I actually think this thing works in Tennessee.
And DJ, I think we're going to have this conversation going forward about quarterbacks, because people are talking about system quarterbacks and those things. I don't necessarily know if it's about the system. That's a little bit a part of it. But what you brought up, cultural fits the quarterback. I think being able to match quarterbacks up with the environment that they're stepping into, that might be the biggest part of it. You talk about Brock Purdy with the Niners, Will Levis with the Titans. There may be something to that. You got to have this kind of quarterback to play in this city. And it won't work everywhere, but it certainly works in Tennessee. Will Levis does.
Yeah, I think continue to collect guys, big physical players on the outside, big physical tight ends, and just embrace that brand of football. Let him add on to the running game. Hopefully, slide eventually. Maybe
eventually
get to him on that.
Eventually, like it was funny because Vrabel came out and told him, "Hey, we showed him videos of slides, so next time we're going to show him people getting knocked off, and maybe that'll change him. Maybe he has to be scared straight."
I think he snuck in an extra. I think he snuck in an extra word in there.
He did.
He did. Yeah,
he did. We're kid friendly. We're a kid friendly program.
There you go. By the way, my hotel room. You enjoying this bamboo door that I've got back here?
I mean, that's kind of nice. I mean, it's there. Who knows? Where you're at.
By the way, before we take a break and get to the game of the week here, UNLV. Did you enjoy the visit? Was that back in the day, like the NFL has all the rules now. We're governed by. Back in the day, if you wanted to go, if you were going to go visit UNLV and you wanted to go play some blackjack, you could go play blackjack.
Yeah,
Nobody's
so
going to
it's
say
so
anything.
funny, man, because I've never really been a big gambler.
Yeah.
I like the energy of the city, but I mean, man, shameless plug, DJ. I just stay right around the corner from there. They were like one or two Marriotts that you would stay,
Yeah.
come down.
You did not. You stayed at the Marriott?
Yeah, near the convention center.
Oh man, Buck, come on.
Nah, where the Marriott? I couldn't. What I'm gonna stay at the MGM. I'm gonna stay at like Bellagio.
They were like $60 back then when we were scouting. It was like $60. They you expensive. They didn't care.
Oh man, you're a different guy. I gotta get the car, Bella. You know it takes too long. We're in and out. We're in and out.
Yeah.
Like we're trying to get in. We're trying to get out. And remember, UNLV, their facility and all that was on the backside of the strip. So
I know. So this was the expert move. What I would do, and I don't think we were ever at UNLV together, but I would have my brother-in-law, who I think was single. Yeah, he definitely was single at the time. He would drive out with me. I got front door service, Buck. He'd drop me off at UNLV. He'd go back, do whatever he wanted to do. Yeah. And then come back and pick me up. It was easy. Those are good scouting days. Not a lot of players on those UNLV teams either, unfortunately.
No. I like the only thing I remember is when John Robinson had taken over UNLV, and I just remember going there. I think it was JT Thomas, who was the quarterback, big old quarterback that they had, left-handed that they were trying to make a guy. But UNLV was always the first visit because the way that I did from the West Coast, I would go through UNLV up to Utah and then around the West Coast. But try and knock that out, UNLV right away.
All right, take a quick break. We come back. It's the MTS game of the week.
It's time for the MTS game of the week, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. This week, it's the Cowboys at the Buffalo Bills. The spread is -2, favoring the Bills. The over-under is 50.5. DJ, we talked about it. I feel like we kind of talked the Buffalo Bills up a few weeks ago. We talked about the team that no one wants to face if they got into the tournament. Yep. I feel like Sean McDermott and company were listening. They got this thing going back on track. It's just become the Josh Allen show with a little bit of James Cook, a little bit of Stephon Diggs, Dalton Kincaid making some plays. But the offense is beginning to look like the offense that we expected. They're beginning to get confidence. And so this is going to be a huge challenge for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I sent in my prediction for the game because I have to do that. Our buddy Shoppy asked us to do that. So I sent it in and I said Buffalo 31-30. So I thought like kind of a shootout game. Well, something happened between when he got it and when it got posted on YouTube, and it ended up being I had Buffalo winning 31-10. I couldn't figure out. I had Cowboy fans just they're bad names, Buck. I'm talking about names you don't want anybody to be called. I'm being called everything, and I remember going in on the Cowboys. I kind of gave them some flowers for the way they beat up the Philadelphia Eagles last week, and then somebody posted the screen grab like, "How could you do this?" And I'm like, "I didn't do that. It's 31-30, not 31-10."
Wow!
Blowout
City.
I got caught in that. So now they ended up making the change, and I'm like, "Wow, what if they did blow them out, man? I would be looking like a genius." When this is all said and done.
Stoppy got you out there bad, but
no.
DJ, here's the thing. Buffalo has been playing well. They're coming off that controversial a little bit win over the Kansas City Chiefs, even though Kadarius Toney was way offsides, and he'd been offsides a handful of plays. Otherwise, that people had pointed out, maybe he needs to check with the referee.
Why not? Like they do with football all the way up.
Yeah, just look. But this team has a lot of confidence. That was a huge win emotionally for the team because, look, people were coming after Sean McDermott. Getting a win like that, the way the offense is beginning to play, I believe that they're looking at this Cowboys game as a launchpad game, a game that could kind of send them rocketing into the postseason because if they knock off the Cowboys, you feel pretty confident they're going to win the rest of the games and they have a chance. The Cowboys, on the other hand, man, there are a lot of people that are singing Mike McCarthy's praises. I'm one of them. I think he's done a really good job with Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott's playing some of the best football that we've seen. They're doing it a little differently with the creativity. They're controlling the ball. They're protecting the defense, and it's worked for them. The thing that we have to see from the Cowboys, they knocked off the Eagles, but there's still kind of like this hesitancy to jump all the way in. How are they going to be, or how are they going to perform against another good team? This will be another test for us to kind of see if we can go all in on the Cowboys or if they're just the kings of the cupcakes.
Yeah. Look, I'm looking forward to seeing what Josh Allen does in this game. This Dallas group they can heat you up and they can be creative in how they get home with their pressure. So I'm anxious to see can they block him up front, and then can Josh Allen put on his cape and kind of do some of the crazy stuff we saw him do last week, which he's fully capable of doing it. So Buffalo, again, the team I don't think anybody wants to face. Miami started to struggle a little bit. What we saw the other night was not pretty for them against Tennessee Titans. It opens the door a little bit for Buffalo. So both teams, ton to play for in terms of of trying to position themselves properly in the playoffs. And I'm looking forward to this game, man. I do think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game.
It should be fun, though. It should be fun. These are the kind of games that we love to see. And the reason why we love to see them is you got two good quarterbacks. You got a lot of energy, a lot of electricity. It's going to have a playoff atmosphere. So we'll see what it's like up in Buffalo. That was the MTS Game of the Week presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook now with code MTS. New customers can bet $5 on NFL action to score $150 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code MTS. The crown is yours.
All right, abbreviated Bucky's Coach's Corner. The word today is authentic. Buck.
You got to be who you are. You have to be who you are. And look, there's a pod that will drop on Friday. Dave Ziegler from formerly of the Raiders, but the Patriots, and we talked about all the ideals and why maybe the Patriot way hasn't worked other places, and some of it may be tied to authenticity. What you always want to do is when you stand in front of the room, you want to be able to make sure that the things that you say, the things that you talk about the culture being, that you believe in those things. And you want to do it within your own personality. So if you're not a rah-rah guy, then don't be a rah-rah guy, because your kids, your players, your team members will see through it. If you're a guy that's very energetic and emotional, then you have to let that show through. The thing that you have to be is you have to be consistent in your personality, consistent in your demeanor, and consistent in the things that you present. Because if you're that, you're authentic. And authenticity is what sells, and it builds the trust and the bond between you and your team.
I think of authenticity. Another aspect of that is don't bring people in and ask them to be something that they're not. And that can be from a personality standpoint. That can be from a play standpoint. Hey, that's not how you play. That's not who you are. We're asking you to be this enforcer. That's not who you were in college. That's not what you've shown in the past. You win with your speed and your quickness. So I'm not going to ask you to try and be the big bully on the block. Don't try and be that guy. You're not that guy. And there's ways that I think people get that screwed up in the evaluation process, asking guys to be something they're not. That's an authenticity problem.
That is an authenticity problem. And that's why people have to be, you got to be who you are. I think that's the best way to do it. Like, because it's easy to be who you are if you're like that all 24/7, 365. If you try and be someone that you're not, it's hard to keep the mask on. And so if you're authentic, you have a best opportunity to get the most out of people, because you can be consistent day in, day out, and people respect consistency.
No doubt. There you go. There's Bucky's Coach's Corner. I do want to remind everybody, the Saturday Showdown is back this Saturday with an exclusive triple header live on NFL Network. You can watch the Vikings and the Bengals. That's 1 p.m. Eastern, followed by Steelers, Colts, and Broncos, Lions. That's the primetime game. Saturday, December 16th, only on NFL Network and streaming on NFL Plus. Buck, you teased it. We've got Dave Ziegler coming on the show tomorrow. It's an interview that we've already recorded. I think you guys are going to enjoy it, learn a little bit more about that kind of Patriot way, why it has and hasn't worked. What can we learn from Bill Belichick that maybe you don't already know? We're going to have a great interview coming your way tomorrow. And next week, we'll be back with 5 more fresh episodes here as we march towards the playoffs, as we get a little bit closer to the spring and to the draft. We'll start introducing some of these college names well. But that's going to do it. Appreciate you guys hanging with us. I know it was an abbreviated episode today, but again, we'll have another one coming your way tomorrow right here on Move the Sticks.